New dinosaurs have arrived from Creative Bee Studios. Exciting! Here is the new Dilophosaurus. Very cybery, very zoic-y. Yeah, there is too much box here. Let us get that out of the way. Much better. Here then is the dinosaur. Dilophosaurus weatherly. But we do not know if it is good weather like sunshine and rainbows or bad weather like hurricanes. Oh well, any weather is good weather for weatherly. The Cyberzoic Dilophosaurus is essentially the same as the Mesozoic Dilophosaurus. It has a new head and neck, a more detailed paint application, and an extra bit of featheriness on its shoulders. If you already got the Mesozoic Dilophosaurus, you're not getting a whole lot new here. And if you missed out on the Mesozoic Dilophosaurus, this one is a great substitute. As you can see, they have essentially the same paint jobs, though the Cyberzoic version is arguably a little more detailed. They are even both blue on the inside of the mouth, though the Mesozoic Dilophosaurus is solid blue, and the Cyberzoic one features more tones. Hooray for blue Dilophosaurus mouths. If you don't like the extra shoulder feathers, you can take them off if you so wish. The same old Mesozoic Dilophosaurus is underneath them. Well, that's the Cyberzoic Dilophosaurus in 1.5 minutes. Thank you for watching, goodbye! Just kidding, there's more video, don't go yet. Just in case you're living under a rock, there's this chap, David Armsbys. He has a YouTube channel called Dead Sound. On his channel, he has a series of short animated films featuring paleontologically informed dinosaurs. The most recent of which is called Hunted by Moonlight, which I guess takes place in early Jurassic Utah. If you haven't seen it, you should stop this video and go watch it. Don't worry, I'll be here when you get back. We're going to paint this Cyberzoic Dilophosaurus like the Hunted by Moonlight Dilophosaurus. It's Dilophosaurus, I know. As luck would have it, with a little bit of heat, you can take the Cyberzoic and Mesozoic dinosaurs completely apart. We'll start by airbrushing the crests a pearlescent white. After that, I'm going to make the misguided decision to base coat the rest of the dinosaur with spring green, the more pale variety. A better choice would have been Tuscan teal. Look how shiny those crests are now. My precious. Well, in the short film, the fungus and the crests mirror each other in color, shape, and texture. So I'm going to go ahead and spray that same pearlescent white on this fungus. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I designed a new display base for this Dilophosaurus. In for a penny, in for a pound, eh? Well, anyways, there's a lot of fungus, and this pearlescent white color is not very pigmenty, so it takes a while to cover anything with it. So bear with me while we get all of this fungus pearlescent whited, and then we can get on to more exciting things. After all, this is a dinosaur painting channel, not a fungus painting channel. Speaking of painting dinosaurs, we're going to go ahead and give all of those dinosaur parts an indigo night wash, which will make them look a little less ridiculous than that pale green. Like I said, it was a misguided decision to base coat it pale green. On the bright side of things, I did cut that part out, so at least you didn't have to watch it. As you can see in the background, I also base coated the entire new display base with black, except for the fungus. And I cut that part out too. I know, crazy, right? I'm gonna try not to bore you guys to death this week. While the wash dries on those Dilophosaurus parts, we're gonna go ahead and do some dry brushing on that base. And it's kind of boring too, but it's gotta be done. So using burnt umber, we are going to dry brush everything, except the fungus, starting with this tree that sits in the foreground, and then the tree that sits in the background. This tree has mushrooms growing on it. Don't eat them, you are not a Scutelosaurus. Once that's done, we'll dry brush this fun little ledge piece. If you were a Scutelosaurus, you might have trouble getting back onto this piece. Now we'll just do the same thing to this foreground plate. So much burnt umber, so much dry brushing. Well, guess what? That indigo night wash is finally dry. Now we're going to dry brush the entire Dilophosaurus with Tuscan teal, except for those pearlescent crests. This might take a while. There's a lot of Dilophosaurus. Finally done. That was a lot of dry brushing. Good thing Dilophosaurus aren't bigger than they are. Ah, shit. I guess I'm not done yet. Stand by. Okay, now I'm done with the Dilophosaurus. We're going to dry brush some arbor green onto the base plates now, because there's plants on the base plate. And I thought that arbor green would look nice on them. And you know what? I do think it looks nice on them. Go me! That was a way better decision than base coating the whole Dilophosaurus with spring green. Alright, the Dilophosaurus in Hunted by Moonlight has a much darker ventral area, kind of the opposite of what we usually do with counter shading. So I'm going to airbrush the ventral areas on these Dilophosaurus pieces with dark blue-gray, which I might have mixed with a little bit of pavement just to darken it up a little bit more. Once I'm done airbrushing the Dilophosaurus pieces, I'm going to use that same dark blue-gray color and give parts of the base plate a little bit of an overspray. Hopefully that'll help them look a little bit more moonlighty. Cool, let's paint the inside of the Dilophosaurus's mouth now. We're going to use dark scarlet. Not my normal inside of the mouth color, but then this whole repaint is a little bit off the beaten path for me. Now that the inside of the mouth is all dark scarlet, we're going to give it a color shift purple wash. At least that part's familiar. Once this wash dries, we'll go ahead and paint the teeth, put a gloss sealant on the inside of the mouth, and then it's time to put this Dilophosaurus back together again. Which is reason number 235 why Dilophosaurus is better than Humpty Dumpty. We can put Dilophosaurus back together again. Okay, I spoke too soon. Not about Dilophosaurus being better than Humpty Dumpty, he is, but about putting Dilophosaurus back together quite yet. First we're going to give him a dry brush with metallic ice blue, which hopefully is gonna look moonlighty. We'll see, fingers crossed. Okay, now we can put them back together again. Here we go! Hooray! Dilophosaurus is complete again! Well, the Dilophosaurus in Hunted by Moonlight has a nice little kind of spiral design on the base of its crest. So we'll go ahead and paint that in. It'll probably get covered in red later, but we'll go ahead and put it in for now anyways. So, due to the stylized nature of the Dinosauria series, none of the dinosaurs are exactly swimming in complex patterning. The Dilophosaurus particularly is almost exclusively a solid blue-gray color. I mean, except for the crest. And the feathering on the Dilophosaurus in the short film doesn't exactly match up to the feathering on the Cyberzoic Dilophosaurus either. So we're going to have to take a few creative liberties here and there, mostly where it comes to patterning. If we were just painting this guy a solid blue-gray, then I'd just add some paint to the crests and call it a day. But that would kind of seem like a waste of a Cyberzoic Dilophosaurus. So he's getting patterns. I think we'll go ahead and start with some jaw stripes. Both the beasts of the Mesozoic and the beasts of the Cyberzoic Dilophosaurus have jaw stripes. So the Hunted by Moonlight Dinosauria Dilophosaurus might as well too. We'll do that on both sides of the dinosaur. Well, where to go from here? I guess we could do some spots going down the neck. So we're going to do that. Which of course we'll do on both sides of the neck. Once the neck spots are done, I think we're going to go ahead and add some spots onto the torso. And we'll kind of make those spots form vertical stripes. I don't want to make this Dilophosaurus completely leopardy like the Jurassic Park novel version, but rosettes do seem to work pretty well on Dilophosaurus. Once we get to the tail, we'll go ahead and add some stripes on the non-feathery part. Once we finish painting the left side, we'll also go in and paint the right side, because we don't want a lopsided dinosaur. After painting those black patterns, we're going to go ahead and take some sky blue and paint the insides of the rosettes going down the neck and the front part of the torso. This is going to go a long way towards making the Dilophosaurus look more monitor lizardy and less leopardy. In hindsight, I should have been using this lizard as inspiration from the beginning. He looks badass. Once I've all got it, I can't talk. Once the patterns are in place, I'm going to go over them with the airbrush, and that'll soften the edges, hopefully making the Dilophosaurus look more like a real animal and less like a third grader's art project. And I think we're going to go in and add some more dark coloration to that ventral area. Alright, now we can finally add some red to the crest. Although, to be honest, I'm gonna end up redoing this whole thing anyways. You know what, I'm just gonna skip me screwing up on the crest, and we'll get back to it when I fix it. I guess enjoy the me screwing up the crest montage. Well, I guess we're gonna go ahead and dry brush some fungus now. It's pretty straightforward. There's fungus on the trees. Just dry brush them. That's a lot of freaking mushrooms. Well, we're going to go ahead and dry brush some sky blue over the Dilophosaurus now. This is going to help it look like naturally occurring patterns in the feathered areas and not like we painted over his feathers. And because it does have that extra shoulder feathered piece, we should probably add some spots on that so that it actually looks like it belongs on him. So using the airbrush, we'll just paint some spots on it, lined up as best we can with the spots underneath. Once the Dilophosaurus's feathery cape is spotted, I'm going to go in and add some sky blue details on the Dilophosaurus's face around the eyes. And also add a little bit more dry brushing, because Shrek. Alright, let's check and see how this Dilophosaurus looks in his environment. Alright, after the dark blue airbrushing on the Dilophosaurus's legs, you can't really see a lot of the detail. And that sucks, because there's a lot of detail to be seen. So I'm going to add a black wash to the Dilophosaurus's lower legs and feet. This will help to show off all of the recessed detail. I'm also going to go ahead and get his hands while I'm at it. We may as well also take steps to fix the crest. First step, add a black wash to the bottom half of the crest. Once that black wash is applied, we just sit back and wait for the paint to dry.
A few hours later.
Okay, all dry. Now we're going to use that pearlescent white color and cover up the top half of the crest. Now we can use some bright red and start building up some dry brushed layers. And hopefully this will look better than the last time I painted the crest. Fingers crossed. Okay, I think that's a bit better. Now we'll just do a little bit more of that sky blue dry brushing. On the face. On the hands. And on the feet and lower legs. While we're messing about with those extremities, I think a little bit of claw paint is in order. We're going to use gloss black. What a surprise. Well, now I guess we better paint the eyeballs. We're going to use white, at least to start with. Then we'll add just a little bit of that metallic icy blue. And because we're kind of going for an eyeballs reflecting the moonlight kind of look, we're not actually going to bother with doing the pupil this time. And hey, if it doesn't work out, we can always add a pupil later. Now I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to spray some of that pearlescent white around the fungus on the trees and see if I can't give it a little bit of a glowy effect, similar to what we see in the short film. Okay, that's it for the pearlescent white. Now I'll use some toasted marshmallow and just dry brush some of the bones on the space plate. That's right, there are bones on the space plate. Very scary. I think we're done. Let's go ahead and put this thing together. Alright, guess it's time for dinosaur glamour shots. Alright, thanks for sticking around for the repaint, guys. Now stand by for a minute and I will publish the files for the display base on Thingiverse. That way you can print and paint your own Hunted by Moonlight inspired display base, which will be super handy if you decide to tackle the same repaint yourself. And I will put this Dilophosaurus up for sale on my Etsy shop in case you want to add it to your own collection. See you guys next week!